Yeah, Vex the Vortex Part 2, Boogiemonsters.
Yeah.
Lesson. What up?
Everything's good, man. I'm blessed, man. Rolling with the punches. You know, I got my Vaseline on. I'm just,
All right. Stick and move.
you know what I mean?
Stick and move. Bobby Weed.
Stick and move, pop and weed, little rope a dope on them. Pop. You know,
Little Roy Jones on him.
Sugar Ray, little Sugar Ray.
Okay. So, thank you for joining us again, man. We chopped it up before, and we got into a lot of stuff, but we barely scratched the surface. So we coming back. We're gonna freestyle it. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna jump around a bit. We're gonna talk some history. Please ask some questions. If you want to ask questions, please use the questions feature below. There's a question mark there. That way we can pull them up. And please, for the love of God, please don't ask when's the next album coming out. Like, try to ask anything but, please. All right, that's all I ask.
I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that anyway at the end.
So that's one question answered already. So yeah, we're just gonna jump around, have a good time, man. So one thing I wanted to go to though was back to the second album real quick.
Yeah.
Because we just had my man Domingo on the show, and so I want to know how you linked up with him. How you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't really talk about. We talked about the fuckery that was happening around God's Sound, and it's still coming out in spite of that, and just coming out, and like you said, you were glad you had a second album under your belt, but we didn't talk about the actual production and some of the joints on there. So how'd you link up with Domingo?
Well, Domingo was kind of like connected to us through Derek L.A. Jackson, another one of my people, you know what I mean? So in the culmination of like building things the first time around, there was a lot of producers that came in through RPM, Rush Producers Management, which is where Derek was at, and also our manager, Francesca Sparrow, rest in peace, you know what I mean? So they was up there, and we would go up there, I think I might have mentioned this to you, and there'd be like this drawer with all these cassette tapes. So at the time, the names on the cassette tapes was like Large Professor, the Neptunes, some Roots tapes were flying around, like stuff was in their drawer. We would go in there and look around to see like what type of other artists were around, like while we were trying to get signed and get on or whatever. So basically, Domingo was also in that collection of producers that Rush Producer Management kind of had a network with. We had a chance to listen to music that people never heard from these artists, may never hear, stuff that was kind of put on production tapes back in the day, almost like demos, but they be beats, you know what I mean? So it was one of the blessings and one of the sweet spots of like getting signed and getting on, because you got to hear these tracks. You got the top level producers, you got Rockwilder, you got Domingo, my man Casper was in the mix. Just so many names, bro, that are greats now and like really contribute to this 50 years of hip hop in their own way. They all contributed. So Domingo was one of the names. Him and Mondo really had a cool connection, you know what I mean? So I think the Mondo grabbed him in on the beginning to the end, like, we need a track for this, you know what I mean? And Domingo got the ear for these ill, like little sound bites of just craziness, you know what I mean? Like really good stuff.
We freestyling it. I told you we freestyle.
That's good stuff.
Living in these last days of
time, check yourself and what you feed your mind. I know you can't be blind, living in the future. Revelations 13.
living in these last days of time, check yourself.
New World Order. Illuminati type cats running around here. Yo, you know what it is. I got Armageddon weaponry like the seventh seal. Yahweh send me sound waves that you feel. Hail of fire, a burning mountain is on. And one line, the third of earth, the waters are gone. Check my vocal, more hotter than sun in Acapulco. One with these three sweater make this bitter. I spit a star into space. It smite the moon and sun. How many worthy of heaven? No, not one. Through the devil in the bottomless pit, judgment begin. Angels from the Euphrates kill a third of his men. Then I change form, busting in abnormal type tactics, flipping styles like acrobatics. So who can do what he do? Flipper style is free too, with more fat formless techniques than T2. See through fallacy with my X-ray vision, wrecking more raps inside my derby than demolition. Switching vision Inside the track, I'm beyond critical mass, build the lyrical blast back. It's the POW in the lyric proof jacket. My quicker spray ricochet, they rack it out my bracket from the attic of the Boogie Monster shack. It's the revolutionary black old sun on the tech. Yo, bring it back, yo. Bring it back. Matter of fact, a lot of cats be rapping, but they whack. Counterattack from the ultra black Boogie Monster purple tape, cause it's all that, yeah. With Jay Dilla on the hat, cause I rap and I snap back when I'm coming with the freestyle like brat. It's all that. They know it's fat. Yo, Vex the Vortex, writing exact on the map. Shout out to Buster. Yo, we caught the award to keep sharpening the sword, represent the Lord, yeah. Jah Almighty, comfy chant, Vex the Vortex, Alaskan, y'all, take comfy right, yeah, you know what it is when we comfy rock the biz. They try to lock down my masters, it's disaster, lock them in with plaster. I'm moving faster, I can't hear the track, but still, I am a master. When I lock it down profound, I've got the sound, yo, G-O-D, S-O-U-N-D, yo, capital V, little E, capital X, little D, capital A, little V, O-R to the T, capital E, little X, Vex the Vortex, yeah, the black hole sun. Pick up the mic and catch wreck, rip it to circuits, you know I work it, the mic jerk it. Yeah, cats calling me soft, you step off, you know what it is. Hip hop biz, 50 years, they acted shifty. Cats in the biz, they got it nifty. Clipped me, but I'm still flying up in the sky, got my wings like an angel. You know the guy, it's Vex the Vortex. Boogie Monsters worldwide, come inside, you know the vibe, gotta ride with a brother, no other. Sailing solo, Vex the Vortex. Call me Vex Dolo. What?
We can stop right there. Off the easy. Damn. Wow.
From the Most High, straight to the audience out there. What's up? Hip Hop Headquarters. I see you. I see you.
Thank you.
Delilah, peace.
Yep.
What's up? Out in Brooklyn, my Brooklyn fam, Delilah out there. Joey Baldwin, the DJ. Woo! I see you, fam. I didn't get to do this last time.
This history right there. Y'all just witnessed, yo, wow.
Hey, yo, thanks for the follow, Neltron 8000. I saw that. I appreciate that.
Wow. Okay. Where do we go from here? Okay.
Yeah.
Got a question for you, bro. Jesus. I gotta regroup for a minute. Let me hit this. Hold on, man. I gotta regroup. I think. Hold on, man. Plug, you just missed it, man. You just missed it. Okay.
One time form, yo, hit the L. Vex rock the bells like LL. Back in 87. Vex the Vortex, I got the bread that's on 11. Take the rounds of heaven on the Dilla track. Yeah, Illa track. Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla track. I got the flavor, so tell your neighbor. I rock it like this, they can't enslave her. Brother, I represent God. I'm like Moses with his rod. Don't gotta act harder with my squad or not. Be more blocks, it's hot like blah, blah, blah. Cats stepping with Glocks, you know it's hot to sell rocks. Make money, it ain't funny. They got us in the situation, trying to lock down the black nation. Yo, I got patience and wisdom coming through. Sparkinism is my man, Tony Holloway. Rock it like this, like that. Yo, they gotta follow. Why? We got the hip hop 50 in the place, rocking on the treble and bass from the face. It's the Vex the Vortex, more flex, Timberland, lock me down in Kevlar Vortex.
Whoa, okay, all right. Damn. Okay, we might have to do part 3. All right, let's we'll get back to actually talk. Well, you were talking. All right. All right, so that's the Domingo connect from as far as the first joint. Have you did you do anything else with him at all, or just that? Yeah,
joint? There's the beginning and the end, and it's Behold the Pale Horse. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that song. It's
I'm saying off of any other projects or just that project right there.
Yeah, just that project for the most part. Yeah, man.
Yo, so you mentioned it so in the DM, just casually mentioned like Puffy got a demo of yours or some shit. Like what? Explain.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he didn't get it. It was like in the process of shopping, we crossed paths. You know what I mean?
This was back when he was with Uptown, or when was this? Way back. Puffy,
so yeah,
this is
some classic.
What was it?
Yeah, this is some classic era type stuff. So Puffy was just kind of transitioning from that situation with Harrell, and he had the Bad Boy offices, and it was just open. You know what I mean? So the way it worked out is I was trying to network. I also do graphics and art and draw, paint. You know, I was originally like an art student. You know what I mean? So I was all into art before I really like took music as, trying to take music on as a career. So I met a young lady named Sybil who was like either an assistant or an exec. something like that up at Bad Boy, and they needed a logo. You know, the little dude with the hat on backwards, the boots was like the overall theme, and they were just checking out art from different artists. So I met her. She saw like one of my portfolios or whatever. She's like, yo, I like your art. You might have a chance of, you know, doing a logo. This logo's going to go places. So I say you put something in. I'm like, all right, I'll come up to the office or something. So I bring the Boogiemonsters. I bring the squad. You know what I mean? So it's like a Bad Boy has no artist. You know what I mean? We walk in, it's like this one long hallway, and then one door is cats playing CeeLo. Blah, blah, blah. In the office, I'm like, bro, yo, y'all need to go be doing your jobs and getting on these phones. Nah, I don't want to divulge too much, but yeah, that was my impression. The real hip hop impression of this was I look to my right and bow. These cats is, you know, throwing bones. So I see, you know, the person I need to see. They're like, okay, you know, Puff will be in momentarily or whatever. So, you know, I go out in the hallway, and sometimes when I'm nervous or I'm just a little edgy, I'll just start rhyming. You know what I mean? I'll freestyle or whatever. So I'm out in the hallway freestyling. Bah, 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 bah. So as I'm rhyming, in my peripheral, I see somebody like pass through the hallway and go in the door. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, blah, 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 blah. It's just, you know, don't really break my concentration. I can rhyme through somebody talking. I can rhyme through people screaming. I can rhyme, you know what I mean? So person goes through the hallway and backs back up, and they like looked at me, you know what I'm saying? So then I turned to look at them, and they like, you got demo tape? I'm like, yeah, because, you know, everywhere I went at that time, I had to have my demo tape. You know, going to dinner, I got my demo tape. Movies, demo tape. That's how it was back then. Like, that's the culture. If you wanted to get on, you never know when the opportunity might present itself for you to get your music to somebody. Yeah, I got my tape. So like, okay, come in the office. So here I am, sitting across from Puff. You know what I mean? Got like one of his assistants sitting next to him at like a, you know, a chair next to his desk, and they're just looking at me. Like, all right, give us the stuff. Bop. I give him the stuff. Plays like 30 seconds of the first one. And I noticed he's like vibing off the samples, because like our demo had like these really classic samples like as our foundation for all of the tracks. Teddy Pendergrass, Marvin Gaye. We would chop up like elements from Tribe, like the drums from Vibe or whatever, and throw that in it. Try to make things chunky, you know what I mean? So he was just vibing off the samples. He played like 30 seconds of each track. About 30 seconds. 30 seconds. He's looking at the kid like, yo, he's wrecking. I'm mic checking. So he don't want to stop it, but he only got so much time in his day. He got to pop it off. Pop. 30 seconds. Okay, I reckon. This kid's nice. Pops it out, gives it back to me. I'm like, all right, cool. So what's the verdict? You know what I mean? Yo, y'all sound a little bit like DOS Effects. You know what I mean? Little bit. You know what I mean? What's up with that? So, you know, DOS Effects were our classmates. They went to Virginia State as well, which is the school we all met, you know, collectively as before at was Virginia State. So they actually performed at a talent show in Richmond where Eric Sermon and them came down. They like checking out talent. And they found DOS Effects and ended up putting them in with the Def Squad. So just years prior, they were out. You know what I mean? So I guess it was just a Virginia State vibe, Petersburg, Virginia. That's where we all was rocking at. And at the time, there was a lot of people who were making a migration. And they say it's the biggest migration in American history, where people came down from the north and were going to schools, living out in the counties of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. Like, it's the urban migration, like out of the cities and into, like, you know, the counties, the country and all that, suburbs and all that. So there's a lot of New York people at this school. And, you know, just popping off at ciphers at school, I would be like around the tough guys, you know, the lynch mob, this cat. Cats like it's really like in the streets. So like, yo, come here, yo. Throw me in the cipher, like, yo, listen to this kid, yo. Listen, yo, Rob, yo. I'd be like, all right, let me spit.
No audio.
Hold tight.
There we go.
Yeah, so like, yeah, this kid's all right. You know, he's good. You know what I mean? So in turn, I started catching burn. You know what I mean? The group started catching burn. So it was just that. So Diddy's like, yeah, y'all sound like them. Well, it's a Virginia State thing, I guess. You know what I mean? The rest of the cats is out of the office. It's just me and him. So he's like, yeah, I'm looking for something a little more street, man. You know what I mean? I like it, I'm just looking for something with more of an edge. You know what I mean? It turns out when we dropped, Craig Mack dropped around the same time. You know what I mean? And it's like he was almost like we came out and then it was like bang. It was like almost Diddy like popped out on me. You know what I mean? And then at the hip hop convention for that year down at Howard, I see him across the campus. He sees me and he walks over to me like, pounds me up like yo, wow. You know what I'm saying? This cat is kind of big right now. He's doing big things and he didn't have to really acknowledge me. So I respected that. But yeah, you got some of my sauce, bro. Cut me that check. Call a bro. Got you. I got you. I need that, fam. Right
You funny.
now.
I feel you. Yo, go back. We never went back to it. You mentioned it in the last bill we had briefly. Like your dad took you to Def Jam when you were 9 or some shit.
14. Yeah.
Okay. So like what go into that, but what was that all about? Because you mentioned it and then we got into something else and never came back to it.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was started rhyming when I was 9. You know what I mean? Listening to music out on Fort Meade. You know what I mean? I'm an Army brat, so Fort Meade was where my dad was stationed, where I had to be. You know, Army bases are basically like these little enclaves of people of all cultures and races smashed onto a little area somewhere in America with a fence around it. In your state, somewhere near you, is an Army base. And on that Army base are soldiers and their families with their own manicured yards and lots and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And turns out a lot of people who are in hip hop have some background in military. Either they were soldiers, their family was in the military. Somebody showed me a video the other day, and I was, if it's all legit, I was just like, wow, you know what I mean? And I think it's something about doors, like special doors. You always know there's some doors out there because you're on the Army-based perspective. You know there's doors out there that may not be accessible to all. And labels in the music industry is a lot like that. There's doors that aren't accessible to all. So that whole Army-based thing kind of sewed that up, you know what I mean? And made people kind of, give them focus and tunnel vision to go and try to find those label doors too. Just like on the Army base, you got to get on. You got to show your ID. You got to have a pass. You got to do this and that. So the soldiers don't think you're just trying to run on the base. Like there's protocols and all of that. So after that, once I got to 14, I was already like making tapes. What I would do is I would take old records, play the sample, record it on one tape deck, pause it. So I'll get the break. Not always the break. Sometimes it's the sweet spot. Boom, 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 I catch it, pause it, take the record back, let it lay. You know, I'll be watching the record spin however many rotations or watching that little logo go around. Catch it at the beginning again. Do that for like 2-3 minutes of worth of music on the tape. Then I would take this other tape back at the Fisher or some special joint where you could plug the mic in or plug in a set of headphones even. Hit record over here. Play this tape back. Have that joint banging. You know what I mean? Sounding like actual mastered quality music, but the loop, it's almost like a splice on a 2-inch reel, you know, in a bigger studio, but you're just doing it on a little thin cassette tape joint, high bias or whatever. Because, you know, you got high bias and low bias. Low bias is like not as much noise. Pay more for that tape. High bias got mad noise. We got to talk about bias too later. But so yeah. After all of that, I'm locking down songs. I tell my dad, y'all want to go to Def Jam, I want to be an artist. You know what I mean? That's how much I was into hip hop, bro. After hearing UTFO, Roxanne Shante, Biz, you know, all these cats coming out. When I was in 9th grade, you know, Jungle Brothers had hit, which is a little bit later after this era of going to Def Jam. But anyway, I'm like, Dad, take me to Def Jam. Sean, what are you talking about? What is Def Jam? Like, it's a label. It just came out. They got artists like Run DMC, like whatever. I don't know about nothing about this. I'm like, can you manage me? No, I know nothing about this, Sean. I've been in the military for 20 years, you know. I don't. That's what I can't. I'll take you. You know what I mean? You know, him being a loving father, he took me. It was on Elizabeth Street. You know what I mean? I think in Manhattan. So go up there and everybody's looking at me like, what? Why are you here? Like, yeah, I want to rhyme. I want to rap. You know what I mean? I want to be in hip hop. They're like, yo, we don't know what to do with you, bro. Like, yeah, kick something. You know, Kenny Lee, which was like was one of Russell's good friends, took me down into the basement. I could see like old real machines they weren't using and whatnot. He takes me down there with my pops. Okay, do something. I spit for him. Yeah, he's like, yo, you good. But we don't know what to do with you. Come back when you're like 18 or something. Keep grinding. Keep doing your music. You know, he's breaking my heart when he's telling me this. But yeah, it basically was like, yeah, keep doing it. Come back. And that's what I did, bro. Once I got the group together, I'm like, yo, come on, y'all. We going to Def Jam. So that's one of the places we ended up shopping our demo as well, was at Def Jam.
Def Jam, that was Def Jam. Def Jam had a chokehold on the industry for a minute as far. I mean, let's just keep it 100. I mean, like, Def Jam had a grip on this motherfucker.
The headlock, you know.
No,
and in the b-boy stance, but headlock like,
get over
here.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Yo, you're getting out of this.
Def Jam had it locked down like for a good minute, man. Like heavy and they covered a lot of areas too. Like it wasn't just they had the commercial shit locked down. They had street shit. They had like crossover street shit. Like they had.
And anytime they showed Russell, he was on the phone, bro. I remember just seeing him in magazines. They would talk about him. He had little articles, and he's just always on this phone. The phone was like connected to his head, bro. Never saw him without the phone. It was an iconic image of him with that phone, fam. Just handling business. And that's what he was doing, I guess. Branching out into production, branching out into videos, getting clothing and fashion together. All of that was just on Snap at the moment. So you're right. So we go in. There's a dude at the front. Big dude. Guess what his name was? Monster. Monster, if you out there, much love, bro. He's one of the reasons we were able to get on. You know what I mean? Hold up, yo. Who are y'all? Y'all signed? Like, nah, we gonna be though. Who are you? The Boogiemonsters. The Boogiemonsters. Man, whatever. You're like, look over here. So he points over here, and it's like a bag of tapes. He's like, yeah, everybody got tapes right now, bro. Everybody got demos. You see this? This is just stuff that people want heard. They be mailing this stuff up here every day, bro. What makes you think you gonna just waltz up in here and somebody gonna listen to your stuff? Like, he gave us the real deal. He's also acting as security. You know what I'm saying? He's holding the door. Like, come on, Monster. You know what I mean? We came from BA. I'm saying we left school early. I don't got my degree yet. My parents is probably confused about what I'm doing with my life, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You pleading a monster. Q-Tip comes in, goes inside, straight inside or whatever. Like, wow, this is crazy. I remembered the address from when I was 14, bro. I went back when I was like 18, 19. So it was the same at the time. It changed, but it was the same at the time. And that's how we got in. So anyway, we didn't have nowhere to go. We did the show at Howard, won some money, got our demo together. We was sometimes crashing in the car to do studio time. Like, we was all out, like, we're going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, putting everything on the line. Everything. All of our livelihood was at risk of not getting a deal and just having to try to retread life, go back to school or whatever. So anyway, Monster finally, after 3 or 4 days of us coming up there and just leaning on the joint and like really him getting to see how cool we were, you know what I mean? Bro, I'm gonna let y'all run. I hope this don't get my fam in trouble. You know what I mean? Hope ain't no bad blood, because this is something between us and him. So let y'all run. Go ahead. Boom, we go. Everybody got a tape. Like, I got a tape, Mondo got a tape, Yo the Red got a tape, Mantra got a tape. They talk. First door I have to walk in, I think if I remember right, it's Chris Lighty. He had Violator. Yeah. Like, bro, I'm from the Boogiemonsters. Here's my bio. We had like all our stuff typed up with our picture or whatever on it. You know what I mean? We had a little press kit. You know what I mean? And then tape. He plays it. I'm like, nah, I'm busy over here. I got JBs. I got Tribe. I got Busta Rhymes. He's hot. You know what I mean? All right, thanks, bro. He was real cool. Rest in peace to Chris, man. Real cool dude. A pioneer, cornerstone of hip hop. You know what I mean? I remember seeing him in the Jungle Brothers videos, with the hat on, like Just Ice hat or whatever.
Oh shit! Damn.
Iconic dude, man. So anyway, we go in all these different offices. We bust in one office. Who's sitting there? Run DMC. Yo, who we are? You know what I mean? Like, yo, we the Boogiemonsters. Yeah, he's like, what's the Boogiemonsters about? Well, they always try to say to the young black adults and the black man, the spooks, we this, we that, boogeymen, whatever, the stuff under the bed, all of these jargons and stigmas. So we the Boogiemonsters, you know what I mean? We coming out with some positivity and some real music behind a name that's been stigmatized and flipping it, you know, kind of like the N-word, you know what I mean? We kind of was like putting a spin on Boogeyman or whatever. So we had the little logo with the guy running with the bag everybody loves, you know what I mean? And they're like, all right, play us your stuff. If they go to hit play, who walks in? Russell. You spot on, bro. Russell walks in. Hey, did I sign you guys? Like, nah, but you will. Nah, I don't know. Not today. We got a meeting. You gotta go. Yeah, like Russ, let's play a couple more tracks for running them. You know what I mean? He played a couple more tracks. It was digging us. As a matter of fact, I seen him at Green Acres in Queens, like later on down the line, and he recognized me. I recognized them. It's crazy, bro. Just to be a part of the culture at that time and had that happen. You know what I mean? Another crazy story. I got all types of stories. I hopefully you have some more time for stuff. But anyway, you know what I mean?
Hey, hold on, man. Let me frame this, man. You got so many stories. You can keep it moving so quick. Like, you played tracks for Run DMC.
For Run DMC. I don't think Jam Master Jay was in the room. I can't remember. Somebody was in the back, but you know, I'm 50, man. I'm hip hop years old. Somebody was there. I don't think it was Jay though. You know what I mean?
That's dog years and hip hop years. That's like you're really like 786.
I was born into it, man. When I was born, it was you know what I mean?
Hip hop years,
straight up.
like years. They definitely are. So
yeah. So anyway, we end up playing it for Run and Russell. You know what I mean? They liked it. You know, Russ is all about business. He's about his meeting. Guys, you got to go. Forget about it. Hit the pipe. You know what I'm saying? Out. He like, thank you, man. Thank you for just letting us play it. We go to the next office, and this is where we meet Fran and Derek. Fran Sparrow, rest in peace, Derek Jackson. He's still around. Matter of fact, he's doing big things.
Out of the conference room, not out of Def Jam.
Yeah, they just kicked us out of their little meeting room. Okay. They didn't remove us from the office. Good question.
You're still moving.
I'm still moving. I'm bobbing, man. Rope
you lost a little life off your shit. You know what I mean? But you still there. Okay.
Yeah. I lost a little bar. And went back up a little bit. I'm still alive. I'm in the game.
All right.
So we slide. I slide. Everybody kind of convened in this last office, and they had RPM out on the door, if I remember. And it's like below it, Rush Producer Management. So Russ was making a big move, and that's where those tapes that I mentioned come from. It's an office solely for producers to kind of send their demos, which is good for producers, you know, at that time, because if they had all their songs mixed in with people with rhymers and DJs and those type of demos, it kind of like convolutes everything, or it'd be hard to go through these tapes and really organize. You know, I imagine they went through a lot of those tapes at the front desk to find stars. You know what I mean? Maybe some people got signed out of that pile of stuff that would come in day after day in the front of Def Jam. You know what I mean? I think it's probably some history there. You know what I mean? So by them having an enclave called RPM, the producer stuff, the Neptunes, Large Professor, Domingo, who else, man? Who else? So many greats. Say that again?
Rockwaller,
you know what I mean? It was a bunch of people, Casper, a lot of people, you know what I mean? So we go in there, we meet Fran and Derek. We kind of, you know, they like it. They like the music. They sold on it. They like the demo. You know what I mean? Everybody liked the demo. I don't think one person was like it was whack. You know what I mean? So they're like, what do you guys want? You know what I mean? Like, want a record deal, but we kind of need management too. You know what I mean? And boom, they worked with us. They tried to, you know, set up an agreement with us so they could manage us, but they also wanted to produce us. And we were a producing group. You know, we were used to sampling. Now we want to just get in a bigger studio and kind of transfer our sound directly onto the tapes for the industry and for hip hop culture to hear if we were going to be in the industry. You know what I mean? But they wanted to kind of like have a slice of that pie. You know what I mean? And to artists, you see his face. He's like,
because we know what that means, right? We know what the next step is. Like they're molding you for what they want you to be. So like that, because that beat. Whatever you're rapping, or you know, the next is gonna be like, well, you gotta wear this and do this and put this on.
Right, and don't get me wrong, they good people. They were good people, and it wasn't like they scraped us and sent us through some real trying situations. They were real when they with their love for hip hop. Fran's connected to so many great people. Kool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane. She ended up working for Puff later on down the line after this all happened with Def Jam or whatever. Just she was like a pivotal person in hip hop at the time. for whatever reason. So they decided, you know, give us a management/production deal. And in a way, it's a conflict of interest. You know, if you're going to manage a group and take a slice for that, and then you go into the situation where the labels, you know, checking out the demos or stuff that you're recording to get the album done, and then sending changes that they want back, it has to go through them as well. And, you know, it got a little swampy at times, honestly. And I don't want to take anything away from Riders of the Storm or God Sound or Riders of the Storm, because that's the one album that, you know, this situation was the way it was. It was a great album, and I don't want y'all to lose any love for it by hearing a backstory or anything, you know what I mean? So I won't say too much. But, you know, there was times where we had to kind of step back, and Derek would go in and just lock down sounds, bring in bassists, bring in drummists, bring in, you know, guys good with the SP. And in fact, Domingo might have been one of those people who came in on the first album possibly and was banging things out. Again, I'm hip hop 50. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me if I don't get everything perfectly accurate. You know what I'm saying? I got the grades, you know, cut the president some slack. So anyway, you know, with that in mind, also talking about publishing real quick, samples can be very, very, very expensive. Back then, y'all saw Biz get slapped, you know, the whole album. He basically took a huge L on because the people who he sampled came back and wanted royalties and mechanicals and publishing for, you know, samples he used. So sampling, let's say Quincy Jones, you got to encounter Joe Bet Music, which is the publishing company behind the music for a lot of Quincy Jones songs, let's say. And I'm pretty sure that's correct. So they want dough. You know, we had a little Slick Rick sample, and Slick Rick won, you know, that's Slick Rick, the ruler, the king. He wants $3,000 for 1.5 seconds. Like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to hear something you've never heard before. $3,000 out the budget. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff we had to pull away. Or we would go in and kind of use it as inspiration and then build something around that same sort of aesthetic and cadence and vibe, you know what I mean, with the samples that we loved. So in that, you know, Fran and Derek were sort of pivotal there. And some of the things they did improved what we did, and some of the things we went to bump heads about. You know what I mean? The voice changing on Old Man Jacobs Well, it kind of freaked me out. I wasn't in that session, you know what I mean? When they did the altering of the voice and all that. So when it came back to me, I'm like, yo, this wasn't the real intent of the song. I like the song as me and Mondo's voices just being these characters and rhyming as Old Man Jacob and the Kid. Putting the voice on it kind of feels dark and weird, and that wasn't my intent, you know what I mean? But people loved it. Everybody that played it, they played it for the label. It was a rap. I don't think I could even argue about it, man. No, we're going to use this. It's amazing. I'm surprised the video didn't come out for that song.
I am too.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've done I've tried to do this thing where I've talked to artists, older artists that had dope joints that didn't do videos, and encouraged them to do videos for them. Like, cause there's a few like Nice and Smooth and Big Daddy Kane did one for like No Delaying and shit. But like, you know, I think that's dope. I thought that was a joint that would have had a video, definitely.
Right. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of songs on there. We were kind of pushing for juggernauts. We wanted to do one with all four of us just killing it. You know what I mean? That was one of the main aim. But yeah, at any rate, you know, we built the album with Fran and Derek and them, and a lot of people ended up who are great now. We're also on the album. Scott Storch, the cat named Mike. I can't remember his last name, but if you've ever seen LL's Unplugged, MTV Unplugged, remember back in the day? Yeah, the deodorant rocking. Yeah, the guitarist from that played the Old Man Jacobs Well guitar. Like, he's there just pouring his soul out. We had a band called Inca Jazz, and we did an unreleased song with them called Ali and the Devil, with like this ill jazz, but Native American indigenous vibe to it. It was just a crazy project, man. Dream project, even with all those creative ideas like clashing, you know what I mean? So that was basically the pendulum shopping the deal to a label story right there. You know what I mean?
Good word. There's so much. All right, so we're gonna jump into some other shit. Kind of bring it fast forward a little bit as far as what's your take on like this whole 50th anniversary of hip hop? I use that in air quotes. Like, where are you at? Like, just what's your spin on it?
I think it's, you know, I think it brings around the consciousness, and it's bringing around the resurgence of the original elements, you know what I mean? But in that, I've seen you say some things that really shine light on some gaps in what's going on. And I guess it's a good time now that we're hitting this 50-year mark to get some things straight and maybe go back to some of the original rules and laws of what hip hop really represents, what it is, what the elements are, what isn't, you know what I mean? Or maybe wanting to whittle its way in, but maybe not finding acceptance with the founders, you know what I mean? With the old school, you know what I mean? So yeah, hip hop 50 is almost time of a meeting of the minds. Like, what is it going to be for the next 50 years? You know what I mean? I seen mad B-boys just killing it this year. And I think everybody kind of is reaching some sort of apex in a lot of ways because the energy from hip hop has just been tumbling, going here, going there. You know what I mean? It's turned into a commercial commodity around the world worth billions of dollars. And, you know, you got people in Asia breaking and popping, and you got these huge battles all over the world going on. And it's just like a whole bunch of energy. So to me, it's a conversation. You know what I mean? And in that conversation, yeah, the DJ. Before we go anywhere, the DJ, man.
Right.
We don't got no rappers without DJs. Hip hop was actually about the DJ originally.
Right.
You know what I mean? The DJ was the focal point. Even if there was rappers on stage, it was really about the DJ originally.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that got reversed. They hit the Uno reverse on us. You know what I mean? They made the MC the focal point, and you know, it kind of falls in line with romanticism and English language and Shakespeare, and you know, the person who's giving the oratorical speech
of course
is the one that you focus on, and the music's in the background. You know what I mean? It's that same aesthetic of romanticizing and paraphrasing the concept.
Right.
But hip hop kind of took that and flipped it. You know what I mean? We mixed it with classical. You know, you got Pee Wee Herman. You got so many different aspects, Real Roxanne, and that whole, you know, battle and back and forth between men and women and mind states and mentalities. It was just so many things going in so many different directions originally. So yeah, take it back to the DJ. If we're gonna do a hip hop 50, Grandmaster Flash said the same thing. You said, ain't nobody talking about the DJ. Everybody who's televising and being all extra and on Front Street.
He said that too?
Yeah, he said it, yo. Check my wall. He definitely said it. He feeling it too. Like, yo, this is out of order. And because it's out of order, guess who?
Oh, like wait, this is my MySpace page, right? Is that MySpace page?
Say that again.
You just say check my wall. That's like MySpace days.
My IG, you know, check my joint. I see it as a wall because I see like I'm putting graffiti up, like Raquel writing my name and graffiti on the wall. So it's just a wall to me. But you know where I got my post. You know?
I'm messing with you. Wow, he went back.
It's the wall, bro.
Wait,
so anyway, yeah, he said the same thing that you said. Let's build off of that. And in turn, once you talk about DJs, you can start talking about producers. You know what I mean? Producers, back in the day, you had to flip the record over and really go through the notes, the linear notes, to figure out who did what. Like, oh, so-and-so's a great drummer. He played so-and-so on this record. You know what I mean? Or so-and-so programmed the 808s for this. You know what I mean? So they were also people that didn't really get their salute. You know what I mean? So producers, DJs, you know what I mean? Graph, going all city. You know what I mean? Painting in the Bronx and the train go all the way across to, you know, where his stop is, Brooklyn or whatever, and getting that all city, you know, going different boroughs and putting up your name, your tag. Important, you know what I mean? Who's all city right now?
Yeah. I mean, it's we know it's been neglected. So yeah, that was my point, that it's operating as 4 independent like silos, right? And
Indeed.
I think within those silos, there's greatness happening, but it's not like. And again, we're going back in the day, like back in my day, you know, they get off the right? Like,
I think we might need to go like Reggae Sunsplash and just have 5 days somewhere where everybody just goes. Slick Rick goes, and then LL Cool J goes, and then Kumo D goes, and then we move up, and then it turns into, you know, the Far Side, and me, and, you know, J. Rue the Damager, and it just goes, you know what I mean? Every year we do it, and everybody comes together, you know, gets on the mic and gives a piece of knowledge that contributes to that structure. You know what I mean? Another thing, while we on it, before I slips my mind, perpetrating a fraud. Very important law in hip hop.
you would think it once was. I mean, but is it important anymore? I mean, I don't know.
You know, like I always see you talking about ghostwriters, you know, and authenticity in lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then,
The
but then,
face says it all, yo.
but then some people don't care though. Like I post that shit, and there's people that are like, yo, well, you know it's been going on forever. That's the first thing that goes on. You know it's been going on forever. And who cares? I've heard people say like, you know, nobody can perform it the way they did it. I'm like, yo, you know, I don't know. We talk, you know, so
No Buck Starsky, et cetera, et cetera. I feel you on that.
we came up the same way. I mean, I don't know, like, man, this is like shit that I was taught that you write your own shit, right? I mean, I think everybody, I don't know, isn't that what you do? You write your own stuff?
It's important. I mean, it's important. It's important even if it's you got people who taking parts that are written by somebody else. It's important, I think, to have a gauge on it. You know what I mean? Because what happens is you lose the actual essence of who the MC is. If somebody's putting words in your mouth, now you kind of being like a ventriloquist where somebody's in the back with their hand up, and they just and you spitting it out. And people sort of can get a sense of that. You know what I mean? If you're putting out records and going on stage and you pouring out something that's not really you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's come out on stage for certain artists where people were like, oh man, boppy bop. And we seen beef about this, ghost writing and he didn't write his part and yada yada yada. I mean, so, you know, I think it's important, but at the same time, it's all about the needle drop. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? When that needle drops on it and you get this, that's what they snap into, bro. You know what I mean? That's all I care about, bro. I put that joint on and it had the cadence and it had the flow and it had the then it took me there. And that's one of my favorite songs. And don't you dare diss it. And it's crazy because there's a bias there. And that's why I want to go back to bias. Something they teach you in science, you know what I mean? I went back to school and got a degree in information architecture. And one thing they teach you about bias is that people are biased according to their goals. Bias, again, like back in the day with the cassette tapes, is noise. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to make sense. It's just static information. Sometimes we might create static information because we don't want to get conflicted about something. You know what I mean? So that's why people will get so mad and diss you, and you might be speaking to them and acknowledging them, but their favorite artists don't even speak to them, man. They see that dude in the street, be like, yo, what's up, man? What that? Gets in his car and drives off.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So psychologically, they ready to cut you off, and you're giving them the time of day to give their opinion. You hear them out even sometimes, and you know, yeah, nay, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And it turns into a thing where they ready to cut somebody, kill somebody, threaten somebody, you know, insult and call names and all of that because of their difference of opinion, and you diss their favorite artist. You know what I mean? And to me, that's deep, but it's based on that bias that people are biased according to their goals. The goal isn't to lean your way now and say, you know what? Now that I listen to him again, I can't see why you have that opinion. That's not the goal. So in turn, a noise is going to be created. You know what? He a punk. He this. He that. You know what? If I see you in person, together, IG fingers. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it turns into because that bias, that noise is getting bigger and bigger in their minds. And there's another area in society right now where that's real hot, and that's the Karens. You know what I mean? The Karens are so biased that, you know, they do certain things and you see it on camera and you just in disbelief that the person was creating that type of noise, static noise in their mind, where they were insulting somebody about a dog or, you know, black people being in their neighborhood, and et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? So bias is important, and by people not writing their own lyrics, sometimes that's what happens. You know what I mean? I love that song no matter what. I don't care if he had 5 people in there giving him all the lyrics.
Yeah.
He's the greatest artist of all time. Like, wait, how can he be the greatest of all time if he can't authentically write anything from his own perspective? And maybe he can, but the fact that he did that, wouldn't that sort of deter away from that? But these are arguments that we have to debate and happily move along, not become enemies because, you know what I mean? We're not feeling the same artist the same way.
Absolutely.
So,
Yo, so check. We got 15 minutes left because I got another show right after this. Hours going by fast.
wow.
It's crazy.
Big
So
things.
we're gonna boom through some of these joints because I want to make sure I don't get left fucking hanging with mad
Let's go.
questions.
Launch the missiles, fam. Launch them. We hot right now. We hot.
We on the top. We on the clock. So, my man asked. I don't know if he's still here. He said, "What's inspiring you now, my man? Be realistic. Pull that shit up. What continues to inspire you right now?"
God, man. You know what I mean? God showed me a lot of things when I was getting signed, when we were recording God's sound. Some of it made it onto the records, you know what I mean? On the way to the label, we're going through 53rd and 5th Avenue up this long escalator. It's like these two long escalators back then. It looked like heaven and hell. Like if you on this side going up and they going down, you're like, yo, y'all going to hell. That's how long this escalator was. So when you get up to the top, you go through this section and it's just 666 all over this building in red letters. And these little window panes on the trash cans, on the front door, 666, 666. Like, yo, what is this? And why is it being promoted? Because, you know, back in the day, you know, our parents kind of instilled in us that was, you know, the mark of the beast. It's an evil number. It represents wickedness, mankind, no God really involved, satanic, demonic energy. You know what I mean? So we were kind of shocked that this building, you know, was kind of promoting it. And then when you came outside, up at the top in big red glowing lights, which came on at night in New York City, it's 666, the top of the building. So we're like, yo, what is this? So we started researching it. Like, yo, we want to find out who's doing this and why they did it and what are they trying to say. You know what I mean? Turns out it's this company called Tishman Realty. Google it, look them up. They build things. The building ended up turning into Citibank, you know what I mean? And has like Victoria's Secret, NBA store, all this huge stuff goes on around 53rd and 5th Avenue. Anyway, a lot of that knowledge got sort of quantized into the music, you know what I mean, into some of the messages and songs once we were coming around things. And our friend Dwight Robinson, rest in peace, he passed away not too long ago, was from the SDA church. He was also giving us information. Like, yeah, in the future it'd be bad to eat meat. And it seemed crazy at the time, but now with GMO and all of this stuff going on, it's like, you know, some of the things he was saying was real pertinent. Yeah, read Revelations 13. No one will be able to buy or sell who had the mark, which I knew about. My parents were always talking to me about, you know, the Bible and Revelations in the last days. So I knew about the mark of the beast, but by all these things culminating at that time, it was just like knowledge that we were trying to put into the music. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just, yeah. What was the question?
What inspires you?
So, yeah, God inspires me. Vex the Vortex is inspired by Job 38, verse 1, which is a verse that says, and God spoke to Job from the whirlwind and said. So that's my inspiration, you know what I mean, to get something going from the vortex. I always thought it was interesting that even back 2,000, 3,000 years ago, whirlwinds were a text or a word and something that was probably original language. Whatever that word was represented by, because, you know, it's paraphrased in English, it still represents some sort of whirlwind, vortex. And I imagine God is always trying to pull us closer to him as we live down here on earth in real time. So that's, you know, another part of my inspiration. And just trying to keep a standard, like we were just talking about, you know, bringing some of the framework of the original hip hop culture and making it strong and keeping it strong so things don't get as diluted as we see. You know what I mean? We got a lot of female rappers coming out and they're leaning real hard towards, you know, almost like what they think men want. They're putting it in songs, you know what I mean? And the dances is getting hotter and getting raw, and it's just like some things is just leaning hip hop in all these different weird ways. So I'm here for that, to kind of keep the standard. Like, yo, he's an MC. He's not considered one of the greats. He's humble. He never tried to go up there and say he's the #1 best rapper and battle everybody. You know, he was like Rakim. He showed up here. He showed up there. He did his thing. And in that, when we look at his message, he was giving us some things that were setting trends, that were creating conversations, that were like writing on the wall, that caused some people to have changes in their lives. You know, he gave us, and, you know, me and my boys would say that when we would pull up on each other, all of that. You know what I'm saying? The love of hip hop. You know what I mean? So when 100 years from now, if they let us stay recorded, because it seems like a lot of stuff's getting erased. You know what I mean? A lot of good aspects are getting taken away. You know, hopefully that stays. So yeah, inspiration comes from God, the Most High. Jah gives me them words, man. That's what my freestyles are. I couldn't do it without him kind of sending me that gift. So,
All right. So
yeah.
I want to go further with this. So, I mean, because I'm so curious. So, in your eyes, I mean, we'll just finish off with this, and maybe have to do whatever. In your eyes, what does God look like?
You can't see God.
You can't see God.
Nah, his goodness and his greatness is so bright. His countenance is bright that you'll be blinded. You know what I mean? Like Moses went up on the mountain, supposedly saw God, and it blew him back and his hair turned gray. Like, we humans, man. we flesh and blood, and we talking about something that is not necessarily derived or consisting of flesh and blood. So when you get in front of it, and with our sinful selves and these, bodies that we do sin, we, create sin with, and it's in front of a sinless thing, you will be knocked down and struck out by the great goodness and brightness in front of you. Another example is, back in the day, the priest would have to go into the most holy place. And you got the holy place, which is a part of the, holy tabernacle, and then you got the most holy place. So when he went into the most holy place, he had to put bells on his outfit, you know what I mean? And they tie a rope around his waist. So when he goes into the most holy place to take the sins of the community into the temple, if he had sinned or if something he had did wrong about this situation, like he thought wrong about one of these people or something, he would be struck down, and they would hear the bells. They'd pull him out with the rope. He had to keep going back and doing it again until, things were right and correct and true and correct, much like hip hop. Until things are true and correct, we're going to get all these deviances. So, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So I can't, you and I are going to have to really build on that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, I got y'all again. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's offline. All right. So we got 8 minutes left. Quick question. What are you listening to right now as far as hip hop wise? Old stuff, new stuff. I mean, just anything. What is Vex vibing to?
I was really checking out Kendrick for a hot second. You know what I mean? He was giving a lot of eclectic, perspectives on how to spit, what to spit. He's in a situation where I think he's kind of finding himself. So he's been compelling for the last couple albums to me. I always play old stuff. You know what I mean? I listen to a lot of Tribe. You know what I mean? Mobb Deep. I think about Prodigy a lot. You know what I mean? Because he just was at a certain point.
Huge loss.
Yeah, man. He was just good MC. A lot of stuff going in a lot of different directions for the bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, Mobb Deep. I like listening to them. Havoc got the real ill production. Havoc bumped into me when I used to live in Bed-Stuy. You know what I mean? He was in the store. Me and my lady at the time. Bang! He's there. Yo, what's up, bro? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So I always like this production. J. Rue, Far Side. I've been seeing Souls of Mischief, doing the rounds, blowing up the spot. So I've been playing them, bumping them. You know what I mean? And then I'm just trying to keep my head clear. I do got a project I'm possibly working on, an all beatbox album. You know what I mean? That's what's been sorting in my mind for a couple years now. But it's just been fuzzy ideas. And rather than try to force myself into a space where I'm going to create it in 3 weeks and do this and do that, I've just been kind of letting it build itself like Legos inside my head until I feel like I got the segues and I got the songs and I got a concept. So the concept is the fallout shelter, somewhere you go where everything's stripped down. It's just the bare essence of things. You might hear some steps, wet stairway, bloop, 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 going into it. Hear somebody hooking up some equipment.
Okay. Right. You used to do all the you was doing the beatboxing and shit. Okay.
I used to hold down the cipher with that too. You know what I mean? The other cats had to rap. Right. I would do that. I would do the beatbox part.
You're coming out. Vex the Vortex, Boogiemonsters. It's coming out with an all beatbox album.
Well, y'all let me know. Is this something you would support? That's something else that's been in my head. Well, people really want to hear that. You know what I mean? And what if I can't be perfectly quiet about it? That's another thing. Where I live, I'm kind of high up. So if a siren goes off, you might get that in my mic. You know what I mean? Will people mind that? You know what I mean?
Say this with the 5 minutes we have left. With the short of it. The thing is, I tell artists now, it's not about. Yeah, there's a core of people that will support that, and that's who artists need to rock with now. It's not about if Boogiemonsters blew up. And I saw you and people saw you in Seattle or whatever, you traveled and this and that. Now it's as an artist, get your core audience and cater to them.
Yeah.
and do what you do, and they'll support you because they want your physicals, they want your merch and all that stuff like that. So to answer your question, yes, it's just, you know, you need to make sure that you have the audience. Like, so if you have the audience of people that are buying your merch and stuff like that, you know, we do a poll on your page and ask. You know what I mean? I think it'd be dope. I personally would support it. And I know my man that I'm about to do a show with in 4 minutes, Save the Hip Hop Culture, he would support it too. An all beatbox album from Vex the Vortex, like on some, and you already, you on your like zany thinking.
Voldemort,
I mean,
Voldemort.
and I mean
Voldemort.
in a good way. But
Yeah. I'm always trying to think of different angles and give creativity.
Exactly.
Man, Jacobs Well is creative. You know what I mean? I want to be creative with y'all. He said, make it animated, beatbox the soundtrack. That's the thing. Yeah, it'd be rhyming, it'd be different vibes, it'd be something that you never heard before done with the beatbox. You know what I mean? It'd just be like trying new things. I know you only got a couple minutes. So yeah, thinking about it, and yeah, it had to come together first before I would even ask anybody. And it's just been coming together. Do it.
Do it. Right, don't think about it. Just do it. Listen, you could die. Listen, you could die tomorrow. Straight up, I could die tomorrow. You know, it is what it is. This is how this life is crazy. And I just witnessed a car accident like right next to me, and
man,
but it didn't happen. You know, just like
didn't happen. It wasn't for you. It wasn't your night. So yeah, you're right. You got to do it while you got time. And the only time we really promised is right now. Tomorrow might not happen.
Do it.
So all right, I'm gonna put it together.
Do it. And here's the thing: if you don't finish it, like it's about that for me. It's just about doing it. Like I'm working doing several projects right now. If I could die tomorrow, I'm like, I'm living my life. I am living.
Doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So do it. And your fans will definitely support it.
And that's our message to y'all. If you got an idea, do it. You hear what he's telling me? It applies to y'all too. Hip hop is just different. We all in different molds, but it's the same blueprint. Everybody do what you got to do. Come to the table with something. And we need that right now. 50 years of hip hop. If we going to make it a thing, everybody come together and let's do something and show them that it don't got to be the way that the industry sets it up to be. You know what I mean? I'm
going to put this out here. We should do this maybe like quarterly or something.
Wow.
Just build, because there's different things there. I mean, I got questions as as far as state of the game today, different things like that. You know what I mean? Like just different things, and just more on like the spiritual side of things and a lot of stuff like that. So
damn, that's so humbling, man. That's honoring, man. I don't even know what to say, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm willing. So if you ready, whenever you want to rock, if my device holds up. I'm having a little issues with it, but hopefully I have a new one soon. Yeah. Buy 2 albums, y'all. You know what I mean? Diddy?
Yeah, we got to get out of here. We about to do our show, the after party where people save the hip hop culture. It's called The Breakdown.
I'm gonna pull up.
So we're breaking down 4 classic tracks. We're breaking down Radio, LL Cool J, 93 Until Infinity. And then, the bridge and the bridge is over. So we're gonna get into that a little bit. So rock with us, and thank you, Vex. We'll get this up on the YouTube. We'll talk soon, man. And I appreciate it, man.
No doubt. Peace, y'all. God bless, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you too, family. Be good.
All right, 100.
Thanks to everybody for joining us. Salute.